you will learn a lot. You might be very unaware of what is happening. You know, you learn a lot from them. You will learn a lot from them. And you know, these days there's a lot of them handle. You know, you can go there and find out a lot about them. But a lot of us, we don't use it, you know. I mean, you guys are all in work and study. I don't know how many of you, you know, have added each other as friends. That is the first port of call. How can you be in this kind of community and you don't have everybody on your page? You must add everybody. You must add everybody. I don't add them for adding sake. You add, when you add, read about the person. Which school did he go to? What's his profile? You know, anytime people call me and say, can I have your profile? I don't send my profile to anybody. If you tell, can I have your profile? I say, go to LinkedIn. In fact, when people ask me for my profile, I'm always like, really? I don't ask anybody for their profile. Why can't you ask me for my profile? That is the market for profile. There's a market to sell the profile. What are you asking for? Put it on the market for profile. I don't give anybody a profile. I just tell them, go to LinkedIn. If I think I want to change what I want to be known for, I will make changes to my LinkedIn profile. And you have to be deliberate on what you put out. You know, you have to be deliberate on what you put out. What do you want to be known for? And it's not putting out hogwash, or you just say you want to be known for this. No. You have to be truthful to that profile. You put what you're capable of doing. Look, a lot of hiring today goes on LinkedIn. Yeah, a lot of people today, when they want to hire, they just go there. They just want to look at people's profiles and then they invite them for interviews. I mean, I do it. I check, and I ask myself. I say, look, the HR function, recruitment, one day is going to become extinct because there is no HR manager that can get as many CVs as you can see on LinkedIn. It's not possible. Oh, don't get me wrong, there'll still be a role for headhunting and all that. But people, it will keep on getting larger and larger and larger and larger. And so I see people complaining, oh, I'm looking for a role, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Put up your profile, put up your profile, put up your profile and be receptive, be receptive. This is the digital age. You cannot network only digitally. Eh? You can't network digitally, I mean, come on. You need a girl, you want to marry the girl. Are you going to marry the girl online without seeing the girl? Okay, marry her online now. Are you going to start the family online? Are you going to have children online without seeing the girl? It's not possible. Look, there's some things you can't do on social media. Yeah. But social media is very good. But there's some things you can do. And the first thing I tell people is the first rule of networking, turn up. Turn up. You work with people, they're having an event, you're invited for an event, turn up. Some of you just sit down at home, you just sit down on the couch, you turn yourself to a couch potato, you just be like, watching something, chatting on WhatsApp, something. Go out, turn up. Turn up. Look, when you turn up, you see dynamics you will never understand. When you turn up, when you go for an event, that's when you see, so this person knows this other person like this. Turn up. You turn up, you see the dynamics. It's in social events that somebody will bring somebody to you and say, do you know this person? He's my in-law. It's a social event, you see somebody introduce it. You see a lot of dynamics. Go out, turn up. When people invite you for events, turn up. And don't turn up for turning up sake. Turn up well. Dress up. Turn up well. Turn up well. Turn up well. Look, even when you don't have time, you need to know how to turn up. I always give this example. Somebody invites you for the wedding of the child. Most people cannot spend more than 2 to 3 minutes with the average person on the day that their child is wedding. Because there's so many guests, they have to attend to so many people. If you don't have time, depending on your relationship with the person, you go there, you sit down in church from the beginning of the service. Before Thanksgiving, you go. Nobody sees you. Another guy comes when they're about to do the Thanksgiving. He greets them, he goes. You didn't see him. Meanwhile, you came there. You have wasted the time you came to do. You have to use wisdom for this thing. You have to use wisdom. At times, you have a lot of events you have to go for. Turn up. You turn up. When you turn up, they must see that you've turned up. They must see that you've turned up. Not that you see, I just came. I just stayed in one corner. I was just observing everybody. What are you observing? Are you a journalist? Is that what you came there to do? Mix. You mix. You get in. You speak to people. Okay, blah blah blah. This is this, that. You mix, and you open your eyes. See, when you go for events, you open your eyes. Open your eyes. And you go somewhere, the only thing I know how to eat is this. They bring something for you. You go somewhere, maybe you go for an event in Yola, or you go for an event in, Calabar, you go for an event somewhere, you still want to go there, Yoruba man, you still want to go and be looking for amala there. What's your problem? Try something different. Try something different. It will not kill you. It's food. It's food. Try something different. It endears you to the people. Try it. Try it. Eat it. No. It doesn't look good. You can always eat something else. Eat it. Try something else. I say, this is the food from this area. I say, bring it. You say, bring it. You tell them to bring it. You eat it. You try something else. You don't lose anything. Look, let me tell you something. Yesterday, so I had to leave because my flight was at Asaba. So I had to drive from, so we drove from Asaba to Oka. On the way back, because the flight was in the evening, so we left Oka in the morning and went to Asaba to go and stay in the hotel. When we got there, I told the guy, do you let me find some real starch and banga? Asaba, let me eat the food of this place. Because the banga in that place is different from the one in Lagos. Those are the owners of that soup. You have to be bold. You try things out. You have fried rice. You have a father. What is wrong with you? Identify with what you've gone for. It's the same way they'll say, don't just pass through school. Let school pass through you. Identify. Everybody likes someone who they think they can relate with. Secondly, don't go for events because they're convenient for you. And that's networking is, you don't do it because it's convenient for you. You do it, it's a sacrifice. If it's convenient for you, you're not networking. It's a sacrifice. You sacrifice, you network, you sacrifice. You sacrifice. So it's not only what is convenient for you, network, you sacrifice. Part of networking is volunteering. Part of networking is volunteering. When you work somewhere and they say, we're looking for people to volunteer to do ABC, volunteer. Volunteer. Oh, we want to do a CSR walk, 2-kilometer walk, 3-kilometer walk. Say, no, don't mind those people. After all, I jog every day. There is nothing wrong. Volunteer. Volunteer. Volunteer, meet new people. Meet people when their hairs are let down. Meet people in a less formal environment when their hairs are let down. Part of networking is knowing what people like and what people don't like. Don't go somewhere and just start talking anyhow. Just be talking anyhow without understanding the sensitivities of people. So you just go somewhere. Look, there's some things you might think that it is not right. That might be your own view, maybe based on your personal experience. So if they post you to the north today, the first thing, so you don't understand the language when you go to the north, yeah? But remember, they've got a culture. You could end up learning so much about the northern culture without knowing so much about it before you left here. But there's so much to read about now. There's so much to read about, Look, I'm in a very peculiar position, yeah? I was born in the north. My parents are from the south, which is Yoruba. My wife is Igbo. So I tell people, anyhow, they want to divide this country, I have citizenship. By birth, I'll claim not. By marriage, I'll claim Igbo. By origin, I'll claim Yoruba. Anyhow. But that's just an aside, yeah? What I'm saying, but I stayed, my early primary school days were in the north. And then I went back to serve in the north. And when I went back to serve in the north, you know, my dad had a colleague, his university classmate, who was in the north, and he didn't even know what the guy was in the north. So he said, look for this guy when you get to that state. The man is there. So I went to look for the man. And apparently the man he was the secretary to the state government then, but it was a military regime. So when I saw the man, I said, you Richard's son. No. I said, I'm not staying, no, I'm going back. Oh. He said, why? I said, no accommodation. So the guy called one guy, told the guy to follow me, found a house for me. And I stayed back there, you know, and that 1 year that I stayed there, so that was a state called Jigawa. The capital then was what's the name of this? Dutse. Small town. When I got to where I was doing my orientation camp, I was doing my orientation camp in Gumel. That Gumel, you know, there's somewhere not too far from that Gumel at the border, Megatiri. That's where they bring in all these cattle from Niger Republic. When you remove your copper cap, your head here will have one complexion, the one down will have another complexion. See heat, you know, one will have a complexion, the other one, see heat. But I stayed there, you know, you know, and I learned a lot. Now, funny thing is, I could have decided to come back, but I stayed there. But the heat in that place, that heat has no part two. Serious heat. But I learned a lot staying there. That 1 year, you know, I learned a lot staying there. It was an experience. Now, you know, the problem now is that I cannot go back and try and do that thing again. That's the problem. I can't go back and try and do it again. So every experience that you have to relish every experience you have. You have to, because every experience you have counts. So, you know, if I say Hausa guy now, and I speak a little Hausa to him, which I don't really understand a lot of Hausa, but I speak a little Hausa to him. Because you see, there's something about language and connection. If you speak somebody's language, there's something about speaking somebody's language. You know, there's just something about this is one of us. There's something about this is one of us. And there are people that I met in that camp that I've run into, you know, you're in this place, you're in that place, you're in this place. However, you see, those days, there was no social media, so there was nothing to keep in touch with. You guys, you have everything to keep in touch with now. So there are people I ask myself, where is this person? Where is this person? Look, at times, I'm still on Facebook. I hardly post on Facebook, you know. So one day, I went to Facebook and I posted something. We had a new product in the bank, and I think the product had just achieved maybe 500,000 or 1 million customers. So I went to my Facebook page and posted it. 7 likes, at least 8. So I traveled somewhere, and then I was so I put a picture of myself wearing dark glasses, and I posted it on Facebook. See likes. That's what they need there. Who wants you to come and put your work on Facebook? Go and put your work on LinkedIn. Like, you know, something. I said, that's what they need. I needed to reactivate. I said, I need to come back and connect to these people. That's an aside. What I'm saying, the times I just go there and I just look, you know, and I go through what people have written, and I might just see somebody, you know, somebody might just comment on something like, is this guy, is it the same guy? And I'll trace people. So so when Shango
I guess his network is freezing.
I
Okay.
guess so too. Maybe we'll wait for him to rejoin.
Okay. Right, so guys, please hold on. While we await his return, please get your questions ready. We'll have enough time for questions, and I'm sure Bolan will do justice to all the questions. So you can type your questions in the chat box. We would harvest them and ask them when it's time for questions and answers. You know, I feel like being DJ Pope now, giving you music while we wait for him.
All right.
Oh, you're welcome back,
So,
sir.
yes. So, what's the last thing you had? Sorry. What's the last thing you had? What was
The
the
last thing
last?
I heard from
What,
you was I heard where you should share your work activities on LinkedIn, then the other social stuff on Facebook to know where the likes are.
okay, good. So, when I'm trying to use a lot of personal examples so that it can resonate. So when Shango Tedo, when the Palms at Center at Shango Tedo, when it was open, so I went to Shango Tedo because the pastor there is my friend. And so when I was announced as the pastor of the Palms, I went to see how they run the center. So I went to learn. So I went there for Sunday service. And then someone came to meet me. You know, the guy that came to meet me, we grew up together in Jos. I have not seen him since 1984. But when he came, I knew exactly how he looked like. There was nothing to, because we had been chatting on Facebook, so I knew how he looked. Understand? Hear what I'm saying? I have not seen him since 1984. But when the guy walked up to me, he just said, Bola, do you understand? How now? Something. So I took a picture with the guy and then I sent it to my brothers, you know. And the one of them said, see, you are very good with faces. Oh, you recognize him since then. I said, recognize what? Somebody I knew exactly how he was. Now, that's because we are connected on Facebook. That's the power of social media. Another person that I grew up with in Jos, I was driving one day in Lekki, and the guy, he was driving a car, and then he was driving a car, a convertible. So he was open roof. When I saw him, I just hunt for him. Pam, 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 pam. I just want for him. Pam, 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 pam. You know, I just want for him. And when I hunt for the guy, you know, so the guy stopped. And then we started talking, blah, 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 blah. How you doing? This is da, 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 da. And the guy was, you know, we just spoke. See, I've not seen the guy for since 1984 or something. But because of social media, I knew what the guy looked like and I could get in touch with the person. Do you understand? I knew what the guy looked like, you get in touch with the person.
You're muted, sir.
This guy looked like, you understand? And that's the power of social media. That's the power of social media. So And I'm talking of networking, just the power of social media. So I went to see someone one day, and so I told the person, I said, and both of them stay in the same block of, they work for the same oil company, so they stay in the same block of flats. So I went to see a friend of mine who went to secondary school together, and I told him, I said, this guy works here, he lives here. Take me to his place. So he took me to the guy's place. When he took me to the guy's place, I saw the guy's mom. I have not seen the guy's mom since 1984. When I saw the guy's mom, I now called my parents. They have not seen this person since 1984. So I did a video call. Oh, they now spoke. Blah, 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 blah. And what am I trying to tell you? In this era, you have no excuse. In this era, you have no excuse. Absolutely no excuse not to network. However, the biggest problem to networking is that we think it's very cool to say, I mind my business. We think it's a cool thing. I mean, I just mind my business. I just do my thing. You know, I don't actually disturb anybody. Really? You ain't going nowhere with that attitude. You know, we've been brought up to believe that it is, as your people will say, Omoluabi behavior. They're not going anywhere with that attitude. You're not going anywhere with that attitude. Look, even in primary schools today, when you want to be senior prefect, they campaign. The children campaign. To be head boy, they campaign. They'll be campaigning. Why do you think the schools, private schools, got them to start campaigning? Because that's the real world. Because that's the real world. They get them to campaign. They will campaign, they will this, they will that, they will this, that. When you see kids now, coming and see them, they want to do a concert, they'll come up, they will rehearse. They will rehearse. When children in primary school are learning how to campaign, primary school children, they're learning how to campaign. Guess what? Have you guys not noticed that the people that did students' union in university are laying stake to becoming politicians when they leave university? They are laying stake to becoming politicians because they have learned how to organize. There's something about organization they cannot teach you. You say you can't observe it from afar. They can't teach you. You must be in it to win it. So I tell people, you have to be in it to win it. You don't win anything from outside. Outside, you're a spectator. You have to be in it to win it. So networking, you tell yourself, you have to ask yourself, 1 month, you didn't go anywhere. No social event, nothing. You just have a triangular life. Office, children's school, home. You see the triangle? Office, some of you is not children's school. Office, church, home. Even the church, when you get to the church, as they finish the service, 2 minutes, you have disappeared. And let's go quickly before all these people start coming out. Who are all these people? Who are all these people? Let's go. Wait, after the service, meet people, ask people questions, ask people, introduce yourself to people. Ask, this, I am ABCD. Ask the person, what you do, who are you, what do you do? Ask the person. Just be living this triangular life. When they now remove one of those triangles, you now be like, a handicap. You'll be standing on one leg because you're going from office, home, office, church. Now, something happens. There's a restructuring in that organization. Leave restructuring. Maybe you're even leaving that organization, and that organization you are leaving, a new door is opening for you. But those guys tell you to leave. So there's no office to go to now. And church is twice a week. Wahala started. There's now nowhere to go. You don't know anybody. There's nobody to call on. You pray to God. After you pray, are you going to sit in your house? you now start getting depressed because you have no social network. Look, you must have a spiritual network. You must have a network for your hobbies. If you play chess, you have a network of people for those hobbies, the things you like to do. You have your spiritual network. You must have your school network, alumni network, secondary school, university. You must have a network there. You must have a professional network. You need different networks appeal to different things. There's no one size fits all in this network. There's no one size fits all. See, there's some problems there that if I want to discuss and deal with, it's a different network I speak to. Different network. There's another issue, it is another network I deal with. Now, the only thing is, I'm still the same person in this network, in that other network. If some of the two networks meet themselves, they'll be like, hey, is it the same person? Some of you are too Christianese. They'll say, you are complaining of the individual in the network, individual. You say, I cannot be seen to be sitting down with this person. My friend, will you sit down there? You cannot be seen to be sitting down. As what? Sit down there. Where they invited us for, when they invited us to do the meeting, they said people were drinking outside. And there's a restaurant inside. Sit down inside and have the meeting and come out. Sit down inside and have the meeting and come out. After all, some of the places where they sell the best suya in this Lagos, what they do outside has no bearing in the suya. You go there, you buy your suya, you leave the place. You just become a hermit. Now with this delivery life, it's even worse for some of you. Everything is just online. So some of you are not doing online church, online this, online that, online, you're online. Continue being online. Well done. What are you doing online? Online is convenience. Online is for convenience. Online is you use online to increase your productivity and your network. So you can attend more meetings online. Great. So you join Zoom meetings, you meet new people. Fantastic. It's going to be very difficult for me to have 70 of you in one place. This is the beauty of online. But then you don't go anywhere again. Some of you, it is so bad now, you don't even dress up. You just be there, mute, no video. You don't even have your bath again. You say you're online. My friend, look, networking, it is not supposed to be convenient. However, remember, you have different networks. Now, let me say something about relationships. You see, they're a little bit interwoven. If you network a lot, you build a lot of relationships. There's one thing in building relationships, there's one thing in sustaining the relationship. You know, when you build a relationship, when you break it or you betray it, as the case may be, the problem is that when you build another one, you don't know where the next one will come back and haunt you. Now, number one, relationships, you must learn to forgive people. You must. Forgiveness does not mean that you don't learn. There's a difference between forgiveness and learning. You learn. When you forgive, you move ahead. You forgive and you move ahead. You have to make things look so easy. Yeah. Forgive, move ahead. You don't spend your time brooding. They did this to me, they did that to me, they did this to me. No new door is going to open for you. No new door is going to open for you. No new door is going to open for you. No new door. You move ahead. However, people must, when people speak about you, there's some things they must be able to say about you. Trust, one. Loyalty. Underline the word, loyalty. Loyalty. Trust, loyalty, integrity. Those three things. And like I said, it is your job to nurture your relationship. Look, some of you here, you are women. You are mother-in-laws. You have learned how to patch that relationship because there are different kind of mother-in-laws. There are some, it's my son, no, it's my son. She still wants to control him. What you want to do? You are managing that relationship. When you can manage that mother-in-law as a relationship, how come you can't manage an official relationship? Think of it. Because most women, I just don't get it. You know, I always say, is it not the wife of today that becomes the mother-in-law of tomorrow? Now there's another topic. Let me not go there. So you manage it. You manage it. Some of you have uncles, you have aunties. You don't treat them the same way. You treat them based on how each person, because you understand each person's temperament. Even siblings. There are siblings that you can just barge into. I just got into town. You just call the person when your flight lands. There is the one that you better call him 3 weeks ahead. But you are both siblings. It's just different people. You know, but you're managing the relationship. You're managing the relationship. And let me tell you something. If you're in business, any business where there are 2 or more people, if they are not arguing, one of them is not needed in that business. If they don't disagree, one of them is not needed in that business. You know why? If they're always agreeing, it means once one brings it, the other says yes. So what's the usefulness of the one that his own job is to not? So, an educated mind, part of the mark of an educated mind is you must be able to have an argument without, you separate the person from the issues. This is the person, this is the issue. You argue about the issue. Leave the person out, argue about the issue. Professionally, you disagree. Personally, you're still friends. Don't link the fact that, you see, we're done. I see, that thing was, you are the one that didn't know. See, because you see, in every scenario, there are 3 parties. The 2 people and history. And one person must always rise up. So when you see 2 people arguing, the 2 of them, you see now, if I meet Kofo today now, if she says, speak up, I'll say, excuse me. If she says again, speak up, I'll say, okay, maybe that's how she speaks. If I meet her in another webinar, yes, speak up. By the time I get to the 4th webinar, before she says speak up, I say, is it not that girl that's always saying speak up? That's history. That is history. So it is history that makes people react because they use history to predict this is how this person is going to behave. So at times you have to manage that history. Some people are difficult people. Some people are what? Difficult people. Some people are difficult. You see, when you meet some people, some people, be careful. That's how they are. Some people are difficult people. Now, but you see, being able to manage difficult people, that's where you show maturity. That's where you show your own spirituality as a person. You don't need to tell, so you don't need to start telling people, you don't need deacon. When you get into a car and the AC is cooling, you don't do like this. Once you start doing like this, there's something wrong with that AC. When it's cooling, when you enter, it's your body that will phone you and tell you, see AC. So you don't need to start telling people, do you know? From the way you behave, from the way you handle things, from the way you manage things, people must see that. Okay, so when they hear, they'll say, okay, now I understand why he doesn't take offense to A. Now I understand why he can deal with B. Now I understand why C can happen this way. You must get something right. In networking and building relationships, people must offend you. People must offense. People must offend you a lot. You know? And let me tell you something. The best time, the best test of building a relationship is when you're at your low end. So you see, when it looks like things are not moving the way you expect them to move, that's the real test of your relationship character. So you think people have disappointed you, you think people have betrayed you. That is the real test of how you can you manage a relationship. When the odds are against you and it looks like people are reacting, people who used to call you 3 times a day, they now call you once. They're not even picking your call, it's no problem. If you used to send the person a message, hey, God bless you, you send the person something, continue doing what you used to do. Continue. You don't react to the other person. Continue doing what you used to do. You are the person that needs to show character. You are the person that needs to show you are different. Don't react to everything people do. Somebody does this, you react. Somebody does that, you react. What are you reacting for? People must offend you. Offense, it's part of this journey. People must offend you. People must betray you. Look, these disciples, how many were they? 12. Only 12. There was a Judas. You have 2,000 people on your LinkedIn page. You are saying you are not looking for Judas. Just think of it. 10% ratio. People must betray you. People must betray you. But must you respond to it? Some people even need to betray you for you to get to the next level. Some people need to betray you for you to get into the next season of your life. Some people need to do that. So when you are over now reacting to that, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I was telling the people in my congregation today, I was telling them about knowledge and wisdom. Moses, he did not send 12 spies to the land. What they've been promised to, if it is 90% of us will say, no, I already have the Remark, what am I going to do? Joshua, when he sent people to go look at Jericho, who did they stay with? Did they not stay in the house of a harlot? Some of you say, ooh. Look, let me tell you something. To oil relationships and to network, you must seek knowledge, because what are you bringing to the table? So at times you have to seek knowledge. You're sitting down with somebody who this person is a football fanatic. No problem, just read a little bit about football. This person is no problem, just learn a little bit about it. You seek knowledge. No, you don't lose anything about the knowledge. And I was telling my congregation today, I said, there's a Man City player called Kevin De Bruyne, fantastic footballer. The guy wanted to extend his contract. He got an analytics company. Normally they use agents to look at where the club is going. They use data and analytics to look at where the club is going. Data and analytics. Data and analytics. This is somebody that can employ the best agent, but the guy realized that, world is not a data-driven world. See, it's like Nigerian footballers. The guy will be playing under the bridge, dribbling everybody, but he has a pattern. Oh yeah, leg over. Leg over. He will be dribbling, no problem. When they take the guy to Europe, when they play one match, they've already put his skills, they've put it on a computer, they've analyzed it. They will just tell one guy from Eastern Europe to mark him. Those guys from Eastern Europe, they have mental discipline. They've told the guy when he does 3 leg over, he will move to the right. When he does, before he finishes the 3rd leg over, the guy is waiting for him there. Why? Because the other guys are using superior information. So this access to this information, you need to use knowledge and information to oil relationships. Now, speaking at, I think it was another group last week. Somebody said he walks somewhere and he's walking outside the country, and people are always asking him about Boko Haram, this, that. I said, you need to go and read about insurgency. they're not going to stop asking you that question. You need to go and read about it so that when they tell you, the guy was telling me, people asking about insurgents, I told him, I said, look, I have a nephew that lives outside the country. One time the guy actually said, Uncle, are you going back to that country? I said, yes. He said, so I told him, I said, when next are you coming to visit Nigeria? He said, oh, this Boko Haram. I said, anyone, Boko Haram. This is Boko Haram. I said, so I now had to start explaining to the guy, they operate more in the northern part of the country, the southern part of the country is this, blah, blah, blah. This is, as far as he was concerned, if you just land at the airport in Lagos, so I asked him, I said, look, how did you think I got here? He said, you got into a plane. I said, did you think I negotiated with Boko Haram before entering the plane? Or you think before the plane was about to take off, one Boko Haram guy came, the pilot paid him a ransom. When we were in the air, another Boko Haram guy came. So I told the guy, I said, you have to go and read about and explain how you have to explain the geography of Nigeria to those people. And I told the guy, I said, look, anytime I speak to international investors, they start from macro risk, what is affecting the country. From there, they go to industry risk, what is affecting your industry. From there, they go to institution-specific risk, what is affecting. When they speak to you about macro risk, oh, we hear the headsmen killing here, we hear there's this happening in the country, we hear there's banditry, we hear there's this. You can't tell them, yes, there's banditry. That's a very serious problem because even me myself now, I'm just with, I just paid a ransom. You have to explain to them how it affects your business. Oh, this is happening in this part of the country. This is not happening in this part of the country. You can't just say, what do you mean? Don't they kill people in your own country too? That's not a solution. You have to use knowledge to come out of it. You have to use knowledge to come out of it. So if I leave you with one thing, look, networking is a choice. Networking is a choice. It is not, it's not a life, it's a choice. You decide and then go. Building relationships and sustaining them is the blood of networking. Because you see, you can be networking, and as you are networking, you build relationships, but you can't sustain them because, so you network very well, but after a while, you become what they call a social nuisance. You're very good at networking, but you don't maintain relationships. Relationships, you have to, if you knew somebody 10 years ago, what you could get from the person 10 years ago, the trust level, 10 years now, if it's not increased, there's something wrong with that relationship. There's something wrong with that relationship. There will be people who relate with you because of what they can get from you. Don't take any offense. You will have them. You will have them. So I'll pause here and I'll take questions, and then I will take any other thing you guys want me to do.
Wow. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much for the insightful discussion. I personally am on this table you are breaking. I am personally on this table, so I'm really shattered right now because it seems like, yeah, of course we network. Like I was just thinking about it. We network with people at work, we network with people at home, but then something is just telling me in my head that I'm probably not doing enough because you hardly find me on the social media space, but we are working on it, and I'm certain by this time next semester I'll be much better. I'll be much better. Thank you very much, Pastor Bola. I'd like to invite Clem to take the questions. I've not seen any question in the chat box. If you would prefer to ask your question, you can raise your hands so that it can be addressed. Clem, are you ready? Clem?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Pastor Bolahon. Thank you so much for that session. I got a lot. When you talked about the triangular life, from church to office, then home, and you added the children bit, I was like, oh my God. But frankly speaking, there are a lot of people who have gone ahead who understand this game, who understand how to not just network, but also build relationship. And there are some other people who are learning. And this opportunity to learn how to, how to build relationship is really very, very apt. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, Stawo, Akin Stawo, you just raised your hand. If you have a question, please unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to appreciate Pastor Bolam for the for his time and for everything he said. I believe a lot of us are on this table. Personally, I would like to ask a personal question when it comes to building relationship at a workplace. I am a little bit I won't say I'm an introvert, but then I like to be careful when we want to build a relationship, especially at workplace, because of the former and stuff like that. But then my own is, if you're trying to build a relationship and you notice that someone is trying to, I'm looking for the right word to use now, the person is doing some things behind you. You know how people behave at workplace, and you notice once. How do you go from there? Okay, you want to try and build a relationship with this person, but this person is not being disposed to you in a good way. It's being negative to an extent. So in that case, what do we do? You are trying to build a relationship, but then you've caught this person once or twice that, oh, this person is doing this behind me. So isn't it better to just cut that kind of relationship, or what do you advise in this particular instance? Thank you, sir.
Okay, so look, you can be chummy with everybody. Yeah, you cannot be chummy with everybody. And you can have, so if I stretch out my hand to you like this, yeah, everybody's not going to stretch out their hand the same way back to you. You have to be conscious of that. Now, are you going to meet people who are shifty? Yes. Must you let them know they are shifty? Not all the time. Some of us are too blunt for ourselves. Let me tell you something. I heard what you said yesterday. Look, at times you have to be an old fox. At times, you have to hear things. When I tell you that there will be disappointments along the line, you must learn how to hear things and just keep quiet. Because maybe what they've just shown you is the appetizer, the main meal is coming. You go and talk quickly, you won't hear the real thing. At times you have to just, at times you just have to be calm and then but you see, in that case, you're already more conscious. There's some things that you'll have done before that you won't leave your flanks open, but you're already more conscious. But if everything you hear, you go and confront them. Let me tell you something. Yesterday, no, you won't hear anything again. You won't hear anything again. So at times, you have to let things simmer. If people know that if you hear one of the things I tell people is, there's a difference between being a reliable person and being a predictable person. Reliability is a value system. Predictability, a predictable person is somebody that if you enter his office and you greet him in a particular way, he's going to react in a particular way. If you say something, he's going to say, no. You must be somebody that at times, when people say things, you just react in a different way. I tell people, I say, even going to work, you should not, people must not be able to say at 7:15, you will meet him at that Oniru junction. What kind of woman being are you? Can't be so relaxed. That's a triangular life person. Do you understand? You wake up on a particular day and say, look, let me take this other route and see. Let me take this alternative route and see. But for you to do that, you know that, look, I have to take this alternative route because I haven't taken it, I'm going to wake up 45 minutes early. I'm just giving an example. Try new things. So if people behave that way, getting back to it, you just have to become smarter. You just have to become smarter. You just have to become smarter. And then you know how to relate with it. It's not everything you confront people with. It's not everything you confront people with. At times, You confront people, you will lose. You, the hunter, you become the hunted. You know, you need to know when, in this instance, there are times when you are the victim, but silence is better. Even though you are the victim, there are times when you are the victim, but silence is better. Because when you look at the scenario, you see that when 5 of us here, these 4 people are very well socially connected. You pause, you pray, and you bid your time. It's not, you don't be quick to act. And like I said, realize that, oh, people behaving in a different manner, you reach out to somebody. Now, the one you talk about reaching out, you know, when you reach out to somebody and the person is not forthcoming, you know, I tell people, I say, you've not yet hit the right spot. See, let me tell you something. If you meet somebody that is a drunkard, meet somebody that's a drunkard. No, let me not even somebody that's a drunkard. If somebody that smokes cigarette meets another guy that smokes cigarette, in 10 minutes, you see the 2 of them downstairs sharing a stick of cigarette. Why? You see, you have to observe. You know, I tell people, I say, at times, you observe the best observations are with people's vices. You see the 2 people, they just met each other. You give the other guy, because he's hit the right connection with that other guy. Now, same thing, you need to ask yourself, when you're trying to reach out to someone, you know, and it looks like you've not yet hit the right connection. When you find out what that person is really interested in, you will find out that that's why I said you have to work on this thing. You know, look, there are times I go to LinkedIn, I look at someone's profile, I look at the people both of us are connected to. I go back again, I look at, and now, okay. And I figure out, at times you can now figure out some things you didn't, okay, all right. Maybe if this person talks to this person, you figure out some people from their social media handle, there's no trace, they don't leave any trace of anything. You can't, some people from their social media, you can know what they're interested in, what they like. But I always use that example that when you see 2 people, walking somewhere, somebody will just say something, and then you see them talking. How come people that go to bars, somebody will go to a bar and start buying beer for people he met that day, because they have the same vice. Tell that same guy now, if you see him somewhere outside, tell him somebody needs money for something, give him, he will look at you. Don't talk to strangers. You've not hit the right note. Now, don't get me wrong. Does that mean you have to start drinking beer because you want? No, don't get me. People have I'm just saying there are different spots you can connect somebody on. Is that helpful? Akin, is that helpful? Okay. Let's take the next question. I was trying to get feedback.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take the next question right now. We have a question from Ujunwa. The first question is from Ujunwa Okeke. And here she says, thank you for the session. I want to know how practical the social activities monthly can work for an introvert. I guess what she's trying to say is, we know networking can be very difficult for shy people and introverts generally. So can you offer any tips on where to start, how introverts can actually get into it and get better at networking and building relationships?
Who, when they gave birth to the person, did they name him introvert? You know, look, let me tell you something. I'm a very practical person. Do you understand? When this introvert goes to American embassy or Canadian embassy for visa, is he an introvert? When they are asking him, when the embassy person is asking him questions, does he answer well? Or does he start, how many weeks are you going to spend in Canada? Sorry, I speak Twani, I'm an introvert. He will speak up. Look, leave all this introvert thing. It's a choice. Let me tell you something. Number one, stop being too conscious of yourself. One of the problems when people tell you they are introvert, one of the problems they have is they are too conscious of themselves. You know, they are too conscious. Did I do well? Did I sound as if this? Did I this? Look, people don't care as much as you think. Oh. People don't care as much as you think. Stop being too conscious of yourself. Stop being too conscious of yourself. Too much self-consciousness is what pulls some data. Some people are so self-conscious that they have to hide. You know, they'll now say, I'm an introvert. So if they greet somebody, hello, hi. If the person says, hello, hi, he didn't greet me well. He hurt my feelings. Move. Which feelings did they hurt? Move. If you saw a soldier and you were in traffic and the soldier came out and he was trying to move cars, do you understand? The soldier taps your car. Move, madam. Do you tell him, you hurt my feelings, you didn't greet me well? No. He's the one that is civilian to civilian. Like you start saying, oh, he didn't greet me well. You know, people are too self-conscious, too self-conscious. Do you understand? People are too self-conscious. However, when there's a problem, people don't become self-conscious again. So people don't become self-conscious. If there's something they need and they really need it, they'll go out of the way. So introverts, number one, stop being too self-conscious. Stop thinking everybody's observing you and stop being scared of failure. You see, people, introverts, they don't want, you know, everything. They want to be perfectionist. Leave it. Which perfectionist? Leave it. You're going to fail at some things. That is it. Fail fast. Fail fast. So, fail fast. You know, at times, some of us, we even hide, you know, we do something, it doesn't work. We're ashamed of saying it didn't work out well. Something. They are doing Christianity. Introvert, please, say, please, I beg you. It is a human being that defines himself as an introvert. It's a human being that defines. Some of these guys are singing on stage, some of these musicians. When you speak to them, they tell you, you know, I was an introvert, I was a this, I was a that. Let me make you laugh. Have you seen a musician that his song has gotten worldwide acclaim and he put on a stage and he says, I'm shy. But if that song is not selling, he can be shy. When the song is a choice, stop being too conscious of yourself. Stop. And don't, the people brand, I don't, you know, I don't know where this, I don't know, is it a kosher thing to just say, well, I'm introverted? And some people think is, you meet a guy now. Some of you are single, you know. I think people think, you know, they say when they're talking to a lady, they'll say, I'm the kind of guy that minds my own business. You know, I'm very quiet. When they gave birth to you as a baby, when you came out, you cried like another baby. Did you cry? When they bring babies out, have you been in the theater before when a woman is born? This baby will come out and cry. They will bring out the other baby. The baby will come out and cry. When did they become this introverted? It's a choice thing. Look, I'm a firm believer that it's a choice issue. I agree that some people like to go out more. Don't get me wrong. Some people like to go out more, but you can build it. You can learn how to get more comfortable with people, get more comfortable around people. Don't start by, so if you want to start going out, don't start by, you go to a gathering of 500 people. No, go to smaller gatherings, 40 people, 50 people, get more comfortable, then go to bigger ones, you plan things with people. 4 or 5 people, you can do, 4 of you can go to the movies, 6 of you can go out for dinner or something. Start with a smaller group, get more comfortable, and then I hope the introvert does not feel I'm too hard. Okay, let's move ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. Actually, she just posted, I just saw a post from her, Ujunwa, and she said, I think the over self-consciousness is her major problem, and which she has also mentioned that she would work on it. So I don't think you were too hard. You were just, right on point with it. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the next question. And this next question is from Grace. The question is, how do you know how and what best way to address people when you get into a new environment, particularly around addressing people in the workplace, maybe on a first name basis, or how do you know how to manage that sort of relationship?
Ooh, so I'm someone who's worked with a lot more older people most of my career, yeah. And what I realized is, see, you can't get it wrong by being more respectful. So if you get somewhere and they tell you, the culture here is we call each other by first name. Okay. When I see Clementina, if I call her Clementina, she might get annoyed. But she can never get annoyed if I call her Madame Clementina. Worst case scenario, she'll say, remove the Madame. So err on the side of caution. You don't lose anything. Chief, sir, this, that. It's free. Do they pay for it? Sir, this, chief, that. Okay, all right. And then you learn the culture after that, And look, I tell people, even in environments where they say they call people by first name, they'll say in this institution we call people by first name. You will see one guy, when you see him, people will say, Uncle M. But they call each other by first name. But they'll be calling him Uncle M. You understand? So you don't need anybody to tell you. When you see the Uncle M, you see that it doesn't look like every other person. You too, you will be understanding why they call him Uncle M. So you don't need to just call the guy Uncle M. It's a different thing. If the person is reporting to you, that's a different matter. That's a different matter. But just call the person, especially when you're trying to familiarize yourself, just call, oh, Madam this. When you see most people, so you can assess most people, this guy might be older, this guy is a man, especially if the person is senior to you. Just call him something. Sati, it's free, You don't pay for it, it's free. Okay, next.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question here is also from the same person. So I'm just trying to follow it sequentially. On building relationships, how do we draw the line at the workplace between casual and professional relationships without being disrespectful?
I'll tell you something. Everybody will tell you, we're here to work. Let's have a professional relationship. That's what everybody will tell you. And you must have a professional relationship with your colleagues. However, if you have a personal relationship, it will make it better. Professional relationship, you have no choice. However, if you can have a personal relationship, it will make it better. Why? Because with a personal relationship, you always get to understand people better. So a professional relationship is a no-brainer. So I tell people, look, I work with, let me tell you something. We don't have to be friends. We have to be professional colleagues. There's a difference between being friends and professional colleagues. We can have coffee together. We can have lunch together. I'm the professional colleague. There's a lunch you can have. You are just eating. So when I was submitting that thing, pure professional, there's the other one you can have. Where is this seafood okra coming? This place. Oh, no, forget. Their okra, I'm telling you, in 1999, when they first started selling this thing, there's different kinds of stuff, yeah? So it's better if you can extend it to personal, because it makes working with people easier and it makes it more enjoyable. However, there are people who respect boundaries. Do you understand? There are people who respect boundaries, And when you meet people who respect boundaries, you have to respect the boundaries. You just have to respect the boundaries. Let me give you an example. If I'm working with you if you know anybody, like, no, let me know, you know my brother, you know my sister-in-law, you know this. If they come and talk to me on your behalf, that's it. I do not tolerate personal relationships talking to me about professional matters. I don't tolerate it. That's me as a person. Something, my mother knows your mother. We can talk, see, both of us can gist about, we've known each other from here, that's a different matter. It is the two of us. But a third party interceding for you, is it the Holy Spirit? That's my own philosophy. That's how I keep the relationship personal and professional. Different people have different, like I said, the person who can have a professional relationship, can have a personal relationship, can gist, play. But when a third party who I have a past, if the third party is a professional colleague interceding on your behalf, that's a different issue. So another colleague comes to meet me and says, look, this guy, he works very hard, blah, blah, blah. I think, he deserves to be promoted. That's a different matter. It's still professional. But one of my brothers, my sister-in-law, and one of my in-laws comes to meet me here. You see, I want to talk to you about somebody. That's a no. Everybody that works with me, they know that. So they'll tell you, they'll say, that guy is a white man. That's what makes me a white man. But see, I can play with the person. So so you have to respect the boundaries people draw. So some people, they can have a personal relationship with you, but that personal relationship, they don't want you to use that personal relationship for other things. You draw the line. Some people, they don't mind, they even want you to have a personal relationship with people they have a personal relationship with. Different strokes for different people, but like I tell most people, when it comes to organizational relationship, there's something I forgot to add. The culture of the place is very important. Culture determines how a lot of intra-organizational relationships work. If you see an organization where a lot of people have married themselves, there are organizations like that. A lot of people have married themselves. Some organizations allow people to marry and work there. Some organizations, if you marry, but if you see an organization where a lot of people have married themselves, there'll be a lot more interfamiliar because, hey, if I was working with someone and I married the person still has other colleagues there who are friends. So different dynamics. You should be able to read the dynamics of what is happening and know that, okay, this is how this person wants to keep it. This one, like I said, the only thing that is compulsory you must have with a colleague in the office, the only thing that is compulsory, you must have a professional relationship. However, strive. Professional relationship is level 1. If you have a personal relationship, it makes it better. Okay, next.
Yes, thank you very much. I actually have a follow-on question, and I think some other people also are thinking this. How do you know the boundaries? How do you get to understand this individual's boundaries? Is it best to maybe at first offense, then you get to understand the person, or ask around? And what if other people don't really have a clear understanding about this individual's boundaries? How do you get to understand his or her boundaries? Thank you.
Okay, so I think when it comes to official stuff, corporate stuff, I think we tend to be very lazy. The work we put in, to understand, how relationships work outside the office. I think there's a general apathy for most people that it's an office that I don't need to put it in. See that question you asked me? How do people know the boundaries of their mother-in-law?
Would you? Okay. Sometimes.
No. I'm giving a reverse scope.
Okay.
How does a guy know the boundaries of his father-in-law? How does he know that? You see, a lot of things, do you understand? people, when it's outside work, people pay more attention. They, that they pay more. But when it's work, look, some of those boundaries, you're going to know it the hard way. Some people, you're going to misstep it and you're going to learn it the hard way. Just like every other relationship, you've observed, you think is A, do you understand? If you've done your homework well, you might have overextended yourself or underextended yourself, no problem. But there's a lot of observation that has to be done. What you shouldn't try and know the boundaries by is gossip. What you shouldn't try and know the boundaries by is gossip. What does this person like? You really think that person is going to tell you the real answer? You're not going to hear all the right answers. Yeah? So, like I said, look, I always tell people, one of the most important skills you need is hearing what is not being said. Hearing what is being said is important. Hearing what is not being said is very important. So, let me tell you something. And you know what? As children, a lot of people, they sit in a room with their parents. When the parents finish talking, they'll say, I know what she was trying to say. It's not what she was saying. What she was really trying to say. How did they know what she was really trying to say? How did they know what the mom was really trying to say? Or they sit in a room with one of their uncles or something. See, what is being said is important. What is not being said, because you see, a lot of times, nobody talks, nobody says everything out. Nobody says, that's why there are proverbs in all these native languages. Nobody says everything out. People will tell you some things, but they don't say everything. So at times in the office, the person tells you something, he signals you, but he's not going to tell you everything. Because guess what? You're a professional like him. He's expecting you to be able to figure him out. So you have a boss, the person comes in, and the person says, starts talking about Sunday. Had a very stressful weekend. Is a lady. And why was the weekend stressful? Because I spent 7 hours in the salon. They were making my hair. You better tell her she's looking good. She has told you she spent 7 hours. 7 hours. This hair for 7, can't you see? She doesn't need to tell you she spent 7 hours. You understand? She doesn't need to tell you she spent 7 hours. Why is she telling you she spent 7 hours? She's telling you that see this thing on this head is 7 hours. What is being said is that the weekend was stressful. What is not being said is that, have you appreciated this hair? That is not being said. So you need to know what is being said, but what is more important is that you need to also know what is not being said. And for you to know what is not being said, when people are talking, listen. And look, I tell a lot of people are trying to determine what somebody is going to say before the person says it. And I don't know why people think it's what's the word? I don't know why they think it's smart to say, before he said this, I knew that's what he was going to say. Me, I don't want to know what before anybody said. I want to hear what the person is saying and figure it out in my mind very quickly. This thing is saying, what else is he not saying, but he's saying? And 95% of the time, when people get into trouble, when they play it back, they realize that, so this is what this person was. There is always a trail. There's always a trail. There's always a trail. So I would just say, be more observant, and when you deal with a supervisor, talk less. Talk less. When you deal with a supervisor, just talk less. Listen more. Some of you, the person is still talking. Excuse me. Can I intersect you? Hey, farabale. As you are saying, excuse me, you are not even hearing what the other person is saying. Talk less. When you're talking to a supervisor, talk less. Listen more. listen more. Let the person finish what he has said. Let the person finish what he has said. Then you now speak. Let the person finish what he has said. There's nothing there. Calm down. When the person has finished what he's saying, it might be the last word that is very important. Sorry, I just want to chip in. You see, when somebody is talking and you are telling the person you want to chip in, what you are trying to do is that you're trying to stop the person in his tracks. You're trying to say, hold on, listen to me. That's what you're trying to do. Leave the person, and we all do it. Everybody does it. Listen, listen, listen. See, when you see people who are good at listening, when you see people who are good at listening, they listen. At times, when they finish listening, you think he'll say, I just want to apologize for what happened. It won't happen again. He doesn't have anything to say. He's just going to rethink what is going on there. That's just what he's going to rethink. Yeah? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It's really about listening, not just listening to what is said, but also paying attention to what is not said. So thank you very much. I'll take the next question now. The next question is from, I think it's Adi Samuel. And he said, from his question is, a senior colleague once said she doesn't accept friend requests from colleagues at work. Is there a problem with that?
No.
Okay.
There's no problem. Some people, their accounts are private. Do you understand? If the person says he doesn't accept, no problem. No problem. You know what I always tell people? I say, the person says he doesn't accept. I say, look, take a good picture of the person and tag the person. Or tag somebody that knows the person. You'll be surprised. The person will come back and comment. You have to learn a lot of tricks. You have to learn a lot of tricks. You see, somebody can say something, no problem. No problem. You know. And then you take something and say, oh, let me tag this person. Can you tag the person? Or you make a comment, you know. But if the person says it doesn't accept, no problem. Maybe at times the person is not yet comfortable enough. So, no problem. Like I said, don't be too conscious of yourself. Person says it doesn't agree. Why doesn't she want to agree? Is am I the only one she's saying? Don't think it, move. Just be conscious of the fact that it might be a defensive strategy. Maybe after the person will, yeah? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is from Phyllis. Phyllis, she has written that in her workplace, regular meetups are held over beers and she's not comfortable in such environment. And her question is, and she said she feels excluded in a sense, since discussions happen there and carry over to the office and she's excluded. So here is a question. Are there tips on how not to be an outsider? So even if you don't go for those regular beer meetups, are there tips on how not to be an outsider?
Why are you not going? Are they going to force you to drink the beer? Do you know how many social people, do you know how many people go out every night to clubs that drink only water? You know, there's an assumption people make. See, there are a lot of people, they go out, they're in a club every day. They don't drink nothing. They're just talkatives. It's just the company. They are the life of the gist. So you see, so I tell people, I say, okay, what if your organization does a TGIF? What if they do a TGIF? And at that TGIF, they're serving alcohol. Are you not going to participate in the TGIF? This idea of you are running away from a location. What are you running away from? Look, there's some locations that are, somebody tells me that let us go and somebody says, let's go and the person wants to, somebody tells me, let's go to maybe, he says, let's go out and have a drink. And you say, where are we going to have a drink? He says, we're going to have this drink in a strip club. Strip club. Let's go and have a drink. It's a bar. Some people are drinking something and it's serious business. I'll sit down with the person. It doesn't change. You see, the problem is that how does that environment? They're just sitting down there, they're having drinks. You are not drinking what they are drinking. Are you judging yourself? And that's why I keep on telling people, see, the culture of the organization. The culture of the organization. So they say, let's go out. They go out. Let me tell you something. You will meet somebody that stays with those people that they've gone out. The guy will go out there. Maybe, let's assume he's had some people, maybe he's had a medical condition or something. And they say, this medical condition you have, alcohol will aggravate it. You will sit down there with them and tell them, I have this medical condition, so I don't take alcohol. They will accept the person for who he is. So it's not an option. All this, I think it was Pastor that was talking about it when I went to one restaurant in New York. And then they had this Buddha sign, big carved in wood. Say, ate the food, finish. Is it the sign you went to look for the food you went to eat? Some of us, we just, that environment does not shape you. So let me give you an example. Imagine you wanted to open a church in a cinema in Nigeria in 1970. Church, no cinema. Think about it. Is it the cinema that makes the church? Do you understand? Is it that? That's what people will say. Now, today, you even see the kids. The kids like the cinema experience better than the normal church. So like I said, I said something earlier. I said, when you have an argument with somebody, separate the person from the issue. Let us separate the substance from the event. The substance from the event. It's a different thing if you say, look, they stay out till 12 midnight. I don't want to stay out till 12 midnight. That's a different thing. Or I can go there, stay with you guys when it's 8:30. I have to leave. I have to this. If that's where they're catching the conversation, except you can create, which you can do actually, except you can create another environment to catch up a conversation, which you can do. You can invite them, guys. You know what? Let's go to the beach. That place, they have fun. The grill there, the grilled turkey there is fantastic. You can create another environment. You have to be creative. But this, like I said, let me tell you something. There's a man, I'm not going to mention the names of the people. There's a man that was the CEO of one of the biggest bureaus in Nigeria. So he came to give us a speech at a retreat I went for. And when the man, before he started speaking, he said they should pour, you have to, before he starts speaking, you have to pour one of their products inside a glass, those pint glass. So the guy will come to the podium, he will finish, he will drink it, he won't stop, he won't even belch, he will finish drinking, then he'll tell you that, I don't need to tell you where I work. Then he just, ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to tell you where I work. He'll finish drinking. He now told us that the chairman of the board said they should stop serving alcohol at the board meetings. After the board meetings, he said they should stop serving alcohol. The man said, he asked him, so why should we stop serving alcohol? The guy said, something, is a Christian, is a this. He said, you are the chairman of the board that is there, and the company is making alcohol. You are collecting money from a company making alcohol. If we don't sell this alcohol, will you be a chairman? So now I wondered, the guy, he just told the guy, he said, he said he just told the guy that now, he said he now told the guy that when you were rising through the ranks in this company, you were drinking this thing, Now, what am I trying to say? What the other guy was telling him, he could have kept it to himself, as far as I'm concerned. You serve it there, they want to drink. Are you drinking it? That's the most important thing. Are you drinking it? The most important thing is that the company, that is the job of that company. If you take that role, how can you, how can you take the job of tomorrow? You say, oh, you are the MD of British American Tobacco. You now say smoking is bad, and you are being paid your salary. You are living in official house in Ikoyi from tobacco. If they don't sell the tobacco, you can't. You just take yourself out of that conversation. You just take yourself out of the conversation. Yeah. And somebody is saying there are good red wines or white wines. Try new things, Biko. Okay, yeah, next. Next.
I'm sorry, I was muted.
Any other question?
Yes, there are other questions. And this question is from Fejiro Akiri. How do you help a relationship transition? For example, building a consistent rapport with a mentor, especially in moments you don't necessarily need counsel, but a simple, I want to get to know you path that I need your counsel chat. That I guess is really about how do you maintain or build a consistent rapport with a mentor, even when you don't want to have an extensive conversation, you just want to have a short conversation. How do you ensure you're consistent?
Give the person feedback on the things he's told you and how they've worked. There's nothing else that encourages a mentor more than you bringing feedback. So look, you're mentoring somebody, he tells you the person brings feedback or just gives you feedback. Oh, by the way, blah, blah, blah. This thing you said, I did this, it worked, blah, blah. Do you understand? Just give the person feedback on those things he's told you and how they've worked. I didn't say go and lie. I said, give the person feedback on the things he's mentored you on and how they've worked. And if they did not work also, give him feedback on, oh, I tried this is not any tips. So you just keep it short and crisp, but there's always something to tell the mentor.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we've exhausted all the questions. However, there's just one last area I'd like you to speak on, and it's really about job seekers. How do you, there are sometimes it's difficult to decipher what is right and what isn't right, especially when you're looking out for a new job. So what's the biggest mistake a job seeker can make with networking, and how do they work around that? So because like you mentioned, sometimes it's not really about what you want to get, but this person is a job seeker. He or she actually wants or needs a job, needs that favor. So what are the common mistakes these job seekers can do or make with networking, and how can they work around it and be better at building relationships?
So let me speak from two sides. If the person is an experienced person, that he already has a job, but he wants to do another job. Number one, never run down the place you are working. Never say very wicked people, very stingy people, never run it down. Because the person you are talking to, what you are telling that person is, don't worry, you're going to do the same thing. It's just an attitude thing. So never run down the place you're working. The person says, oh, why do you want to leave the place? You can say, well, more responsibilities, I'm going to have more responsibilities. I'm going to need more financial, blah, blah, blah. But never you run down the place. Always look for the positive in where you're working. If it's a fresh job seeker, yeah, when you meet people, can you build a rapport with them before saying, I'm looking for a job? First, build a rapport. The first thing is not your need. First, build a rapport. Within the rapport, when you network with people, within the rapport, let them get to know your need through the rapport. Not that you're connected with somebody. The person has accepted you. Thank you very much for accepting me on LinkedIn. Fine, attach my CV. I've been looking for a job for the past 5 years. You won't find that guy again. Build a rapport. Build a rapport. The person will let the person get to find out your need from the rapport. Build a rapport. Just build a little rapport. Don't let your need be the reason why you are. So the person sees and says, oh, the only reason why this person is networking is because he needs. No. Build a rapport. Don't let your need be the reason for Just think of it. You meet somebody, you go somewhere, you meet somebody. Hello? Yes, what's your name? My name is Dudubo. Okay, what's your name? My name is Clementina. Then Dudubo tells Clementina. And Clementina says, my name is Clementina, I work in KPMG. Dudubo says, are you people hiring? Ah, because me, I mean, I'm looking for a job. There are a lot of other things you people could have in common. Discuss first. In between the discussion, you might, oh, so what do you do? Well, I'm an analyst. I work with these people. Okay, and we have analysts. I mean, we were hiring analysts about 3 months ago. I think we're going to hire a few. Get to don't make it a needy stuff. Hello? Hello, I've been chatting you now. I need a job. Help your brother. Help your brother. Help your brother. This country is rough. Help your brother. Help your brother. I don't want to be disturbing you like this, but what is it? What is it? All right. Any other?
No, there isn't. So we've actually you have handled all the questions. Thank you very much, sir. Or are there other questions? Is there any other person who wants to ask a question and or there's an area you need clarity on that hasn't been addressed? Because the discussion has been very, very exhaustive from all angles, and it's been very fantastic. All areas have been handled, in my opinion. But if there are other areas, and that you feel hasn't been handled, or there's something else you have in your mind you need clarity on, please just raise your hand and ask a question. But if there isn't, frankly, that is it from me. There are no questions right now. Okay, fantastic. There are no questions. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for your responses. Thank you for how you have handled all the questions. Your experience has really have been an added advantage for us. We have learned a lot from you today. Every time I listen to you, personally, I learn a lot, and today is not an exception. Thank you very much. It's been a great session. Somebody just wrote awesome session. Yes, you can go ahead and describe this session in the chat box and just say thank you to our facilitator. So I'm going to hand over right now to Dr. Kofoboro Lagbayo. Thank you.
You guys are making me get tired with this doctor thing. Thank you so much, Clem. Thank you so much for handling the session. Thank you, Pastor Bolan. You see, it's always an interesting time with you. Like my very first experience with you was the second season with community groups where you were invited to speak with us. A lot of us took offense because Pastor Bola is just so direct, so straight to the point. But since then, I've seen you as a very, very, very strict person. And I must confess to you that I had to tell people in my group, come Helio. Pastor Bola does not take nonsense, and he doesn't hide himself from the truth. He will give it to you as it is. And I've seen a lot of comments where people have said something about shaking table, breaking tables, and all that. We thank you for your consistency. I would quickly invite Nsei to give us a concluding remark. Nsei, are you there?
Good evening. Yes, I am. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Pastor Balaho. Thank you very much for a very beautiful session. I have always followed you. In fact, I'm a member of the new managers, so I have followed all your sessions with the new managers and also you taking this session with us. Thank you for being direct, for being open and honest and making us see life the way it ought to be and not the fantasy world. I'm sure everybody in the work and study group is very grateful and appreciative of your session with us, and we look forward to more collaborations with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, sir.
Okay, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the questions. Those of you who stay on the island, you can join us at the Palms if you don't already go to any of the Covenant centers. So we're trying to raise 1,000 friends in fellowship. That's our mantra now. 1,000 friends in fellowship. These are the things we discuss on our after church hours. We discuss how people can be better corporate professionals, how people can navigate life better as Christians, how you can win with righteousness. And I tell people, you can win with righteousness. So those are the things we discuss. So if you're still on the island, we're happy to have you. We have our services at 7:45 a.m. every Sunday. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Sir.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Joseph.
you so much,
Thanks,
sir.
Jose.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Clem. Thanks,
Thank you.
Doctor, thanks for making this
Thank you so
happen.
much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, and everyone.
Thank you, everyone.